All right, guys. Hey, it's David here. With the release of Rennsport, I'm going to do a little bit of a driving review for you guys. I signed up for the founders pack of this thing about, maybe a year and a half ago. We actually did some races at CMS early on to help with the beta testing. There was like a closed beta, and we actually sponsored some events, and it was fun. The guys over there were really nice and everything, and I enjoyed being a part of it. Um, the Since then, they've continued to work on the game. They've come out with a release. Um, they actually, which I thought was surprising, but I mean, I guess I understand why. Went with a console launch for version 1 on Xbox and PS5, and I actually in this race am in a crossplay race that I'm fixing to do at Road Atlanta in a GT4 with the crossplay turned on. This is going to be a short little 10-minute race, GT4, to establish ranking and that kind of thing. I'm still working on getting my ranking set up because they reset all that when they did the release of 1.0 and moved it over to Steam and everything. They did give me a Epic Edition or Ultra Edition or whatever as part of the Founders Pack, so that was nice. And they came out with like a special track, like a Founders Edition track that I think maybe just those in the Founders group have access to or something along those lines. Generally speaking, I've seen a few reviews so far, and they've not been real positive. And I can't refute a lot of that. I think, but to put it in perspective, the way I would sum it up is work in progress here. And to me, it's a little early, a lot early actually, to be doing this. With a big console release and the whole 9 yards. And by the way, you can see here as I just pulled up the HUD in the middle of the screen, you'll see the drivers that are PlayStation, Xbox, then a little PC sign for those of us on Steam. So, I think the biggest issue that I see, and you're going to get to see the driving here in the race, is it's just not finished. Doesn't have enough content. And there's a microtransaction system that would be okay as something optional, but it's just not there as far as having enough base content, let alone being able to say that there's like an ultimate edition and a base edition. There's just not enough content for one edition, in my opinion. The content they have seems okay, seems good, so we're going to get a countdown here. I'll do my best to talk here while I review. So let's go ahead and get started. Graphically, it looks really, really good. The other thing I would say is that it performs very well. So, really smooth. The multiplayer is pretty good, netcode wise. And haven't had really any issues there. In fact, I feel in a lot of ways better than I do in some other, much further along and much bigger funded sims with regards to the ability netcode-wise to get out here and kind of, race with some of these guys. Ooh, this guy's going to pull right in front of me. You have to do 4 races to establish an SR. Ooh, they're wrecking. Ooh, and I got on a bump there. So a lot of things are modeled. Like you saw, I got on a bump there on the grass, and the car kind of went for what I would expect it to do, kind of a wild ride. So I really can't say that me personally have had a lot of beef or complaints about the physics. I think they feel good for the most part. I feel confident in the car. Say that and I spin here. You can see that it kind of gave me a message there that this is going to be a dirty lap. it's definitely, as far as physics go, a sim. It's not a simcade. It's definitely a sim. And I had to spend a little bit of time getting my force feedback and everything going. I have a rig-wise, I have a cockpit and everything with one really nice big ultra-wide monitor, and I have a Fanatec DD1 and Hosenfeld pedals, and they had some recommended settings on their Discord. There's actually an auto setup with the Fanatic wheel that I think they've tuned things to, which feels pretty good. I dialed it in just a little bit based on some recommendations, but didn't take me long to do that. The other thing I really did like about the game is right when you fire it up, it has a clean UI, and it's real easy to navigate. It's clean, it's not overdone, and even here in the racing you can see that as well. But it goes right immediately through a real intuitive wheel setup and pedals, which, you know, a lot of times you find yourself hunting, trying to get all that set up, you know, in other sims. And with this one, it was real clear, real easy to do. I didn't have any issues, no problems with it detecting multiple controllers, things like that. If I was able to focus here rather than talking, I think I've got enough to win this race. But you can see the multiplayer is very solid. It gives you a little display, you'll see as well up top, about kind of, which is, you can turn off and on, about, you know, multiplayer statistics, frame rate, all that kind of stuff. The frames are very smooth. Let's see if I can't get around this Audi here. You can see it's got a radar system, kind of a lot like, reminds me of a Assetto competition. Assetto Corsa competition with regards to that. Got about 5.5 minutes left, so we're about halfway through the race already. See if I can get down here to the bottom of the hill here without this guy next to me wrecking me. He's right alongside me still. I can feel him and hear him. Got another one pitting. I don't know if they're out of fuel or if they're pitting for penalties. That's the other thing. Oh, this guy in front of me is wrecking. And the one in front of him's wrecking. We might be leading this thing here in a second if we keep it up. The player in front of me, you can tell from the HUD, is a PlayStation player. So, and I'm not, I guess the console players were able to get early. I think we're still one more day into the early access. I think the console players were able to get access to that too, I'm assuming. I didn't really pay too much attention to that, but there was like a 72-hour pre-release. You can see we're doing kind of a twilight race here at Road Atlanta in these GT4 cars, and it's a two manufacturer race here. You could either choose this is like what's called a rookie race until you get your SR and your rating and all that established. You can only really qualify for some of these rookie lobbies, if you will. You have to do 4 races. This is my second one to try to get a rating. And then once you do 4, you get a rating. One of the other things I mentioned a minute ago, though, or alluded to, was sound. A lot of guys I've seen in a couple of reviews have really been complaining about the sound, that it's just too generic in the cars, and they are not authentic to what the real-life car would sound like. Talking here, I went through that corner in the wrong gear. Otherwise, I think we would have passed this BMW here. But You know, I can't really comment on that. I mean, it doesn't sound great to me, but I can't say that I know how any of these cars really are supposed to sound in real life. You know, it sounds like a race car. So, you know, maybe they need to work on sounds and get them dialed in a little bit better, and, you know, with whatever budget they have, get some guys to actually go to some cars and do some recording, do some tweaking and all that. But I think that's probably a lower priority for them, but definitely something that is an attention to detail thing that you see in a lot of the other sims that, you know, I did see some examples in another review where it was like, you know, they were showing, you know, a touring car to a prototype, and they basically had the same sound. The sound they have is not bad. And again, like I said, I don't know what these cars would really sound like in real life on really any of these cars. But to me, that's not any sort of a showstopper. So let me just run a lap here and let you just kind of listen. A little bit loose. We're going to have one lap at the line here, so I just don't... I've let this guy get a little further away from me than I should have. Let's see if I can run a good lap here, though, for my final lap, and if he makes a mistake, any sort of bobble, I think will catch him. But if he runs a clean lap, I don't think I've got a shot. I'm going to send it down in here deep. See how I got a little upset there over the curb? So, I mean, physics-wise, to me, it feels fine. Oh, here's my shot. Oh, good, 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 good. See if he tries to block me. I got a good run here. Boy, we are beating and banging here. I'm going to end up beating him, but we went through there with 8 wheels. Felt like I raced him fair. I don't like this where it just goes straight here to the end. I don't get to see the end. Maybe I can. Gosh, it looked like it wrecked my car right as I finished here. So maybe there's something I'm doing wrong there. I don't know, but did win the race. So moved up 8 positions. You can see here kind of where my mouse is. I don't have a rank yet, so that's still TBD. Whereas this guy down here has a rank, and some of these other guys can just kind of see the stats and everything. So I think you can. Maybe we wait here a minute. But you see, I'm level 5. By the way, it does have a single player component, and the single player component is really, really, really immature. I think that a lot of the console players who tend to like that kind of stuff are going to be probably pretty disappointed in that. But as far as online racing goes, which is kind of what I'm into, especially as a PC driver, it's pretty good in that regard. You saw, like, I mean, we were beating and banging and kind of rubbing there together, and pretty solid. I think this was a fixed setup race because it's like a rookie race, but they've also added the ability for you to do setups and customize your setup and that kind of thing. So yeah, let's see. I don't know if I need to just exit here or if some of these guys are still racing. It looks like they're still racing. Yeah, so now we're finished. And you can see here it's going to show all the XP I gained. I completed a race, my position, distance driven. I'm level 6 now, whatever that means. And it looks like I've got to complete a couple of more races here, 3 more races to receive my rank. I thought it was 2. But here's the results. Here are the race. I just unlocked a couple of achievements, which is kind of good. It looks like they're coming out with some sort of a patch. But yeah, that's a little bit about it. That's kind of where we're at with it. And should you spend money and buy it? I can't really say I would recommend that right now. I think there is like a free game, a free base download. You could try the physics and that kind of stuff. It needs some work for sure, but I think it's certainly has potential. It certainly has potential, and I'm going to continue to follow it, and I want to see more from them. And I hate that everyone's having to sort of pay for that while they develop it, but also know that these guys are trying to establish themselves and run a business, and I get that. So it's tough, right? But anyhow, that's Rennsport version 1, and I will get this posted on YouTube. And have a good evening, guys.